morning to everyone gathered here today and to those watching remotely on whatever platform of the alleged infiltration of or exertion of undue influence on the criminal justice system. If the allegations are proved to be true, that spells doom for South Africa's criminal justice system. A healthy criminal justice system is key to the rule of law and, in turn, to a functioning constitutional democracy. With a criminal justice system that is populated by malleable and corrupt functionaries, many criminals, especially those holding positions of influence, will rarely, if ever, answer for their criminal deeds. Also, malleability, corruption, and dysfunctionality in the criminal justice system are at odds with what we, South Africans, expect of and are entitled to from a criminal justice system. At the center of any functioning constitutional democracy is a well-functioning criminal justice system. If you subvert the criminal justice system, you subvert the rule of law and constitutional democracy itself. The subversion of the criminal justice system may take any number of forms. Without purporting to be exhaustive, it may come as downright intimidation. It may consist in improper promises or inducements. It may take the form of corruptly influencing the decision-making or functioning of those responsible for the smooth running of the system. All these forms and others are a cancer to what a proper criminal justice system should be. Ours from today onwards is to investigate whether our criminal justice system is what it should be or whether it has been infiltrated by criminal syndicates. Words from us must end here, and we must start with the investigative process. Now I call upon the Chief Evidence Leader, Advocate Motau, SC. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair, co-commissioners. Chair, perhaps the opposite place at which to start is the 6th of July, 2025, when Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi, the Provincial Commissioner of Police in KwaZulu-Natal, convened a media briefing which has turned out to have some significance in that it prompted the President, His Excellency Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa, to establish this Commission of Inquiry. And we know that from the media briefing, serious allegations of corruption, political interference, criminal infiltration within law enforcement and justice institutions were raised by Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi. And those allegations which he has raised will be examined openly and impartially in this commission. And at the outset, the one important point that one needs to emphasize is that the principle of impartiality signifies that the commission does not move from the premise that the allegations by General Mkhwanazi are indeed correct. It also does not move from the premise that they are not. It purely approaches the allegations with an open mind so that they can be tested with the relevant evidence that needs to support the allegations, and equally in respect of people that are mentioned by General Mkhwanazi, those will have an opportunity to come before the Commission with reference to credible evidence to dispute, if they so wish, the veracity of those allegations. And Chair and members of the Commission, the purpose of this opening address, it is in part to outline in very broad terms what the investigation's purpose is about, and we'll touch briefly on some relevant provisions of the Commissions Act. And what we'll also do is very briefly allude to the allegations that the Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi referred to in his media briefing. And as part of that outline, we will also indicate a timeline of material events which will orientate both the Commission and members of the public to be able to contextualize the context in which the investigation is to be undertaken by the Commission. Chair and members of the Commission, the outcome of an investigation that will be undertaken by this process will have a bearing on, among others, whether there should be institutional reforms that are to be recommended to the President, and if so, what form or what kind of reforms should be recommended for purposes of the avoidance of any interference, infiltration, or corruption within the criminal justice system if the evidence points to its existence. And in order to locate the allegations that the Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi makes in their proper context, one needs to understand that a criminal justice system operates through three pillars. The first pillar is that of the police, which we know it will include law enforcement agencies such as Metro Police, that as the public will know, the terms of reference make specific reference to the Metro Police of Tshwane, Egoruleni, and the city of Johannesburg. Then the second pillar of the criminal justice system is that of the courts. And the courts, as we all know, they include both the judiciary and the NPA. The prosecutors play a very important role in terms of ensuring that cases that are referred to them by the police are assessed for purposes of prosecution. And we know the judiciary, which comprises both of judges and the magistracy, are supposed to preside impartially over those cases that are enrolled. And all of these come together for purposes of scrutiny flowing from the allegations that Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi makes. And to test out a few aspects that were made or were raised by General Mkhwanazi during the media briefing of the 6th of July, with reference to the three pillars of the criminal justice system, the media briefing highlighted in particular, and again at this juncture we need to emphasize the fact that what we are about to refer to, which is going to form the subject matter of this investigation, is approached purely on an impartial basis. The Commission has not formed a view, particularly in these early days, on whether there is truth in the allegations or whether these allegations are false. So in other words, that is the very reason why we have this Commission of Inquiry, to test these allegations. To go back then to the issues that were raised at the media briefing of the 6th of July, and those that are of particular importance that need to be tested is whether the Minister of Police interfered with sensitive police investigations and colluded with business people, including a murder accused, to disband the political killings task team, which is based in KwaZulu-Natal, and whether a Gauteng task team investigation which uncovered a syndicate ran by a drug cartel involving politicians, law enforcement, prosecutors, the judiciary, and business people was affected as a consequence of that alleged interference. And it should not escape any of us that if those allegations are true, they will erode and damage public trust in these very vital and crucial institutions. And for that reason, the truth, or rather the truthfulness of those allegations, needs to be proven, understanding the limited time within which the President has allocated the Commission to undertake its task. We are all aware that the task needs to be performed within a period of 6 months, and the urgency is one that all of us can appreciate. The criminal justice system continues to operate while the Commission is ongoing, and the delays will not assist the restoration of that public confidence in those institutions. And it is for that reason that the work of the Commission will be geared to producing a draft report within the first 3 months, as indicated in the terms of reference by the President, and hopefully to finalize the balance within the prescribed period, all things being equal. Then, the one aspect that is important to highlight and emphasize is Section 5 of the South Africa's Commissions Act, number 8 of 1947, which section stipulates that it is a criminal offense to obstruct the work of a commission of inquiry. That is an important aspect because it needs to be understood that the integrity of the investigations need to proceed unhindered. And in this regard, the Act makes it clear that any person who willfully hinders or obstructs a commission in the performance of its functions shall be guilty of an offense and would be liable upon conviction to a fine, imprisonment for up to 6 months, or both. And thus, it is important that the Commission, again, I stress, operates free of unlawful interference. Then, in respect of the approach to the evidence, there are a few key issues that we need to emphasize. The first being that when the Commission investigates the allegations that were made by Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi, the approach, as I've indicated, is that of impartiality, and it is one that presumes no particular outcome. And you will notice that I've been emphasizing this principle because of the heightened interest that the public has in this process. The need for thorough investigations, the need to offer the implicated persons a fair opportunity to respond to these allegations is an integral part that protects the integrity of the process. There will be 3 phases that are undertaken in this commission. And perhaps before I outline those, if I might just deal with the timeline of critical events which I had mentioned earlier, from the prism of which the investigation will be undertaken. The first material date is July 2018, and that is when the political killings task team was officially launched. And what is important to understand about that is that there was an ad hoc interdisciplinary unit within the SAPS, which was tasked with investigating political killings with an operational focus in KwaZulu-Natal that later extended nationally. Chair and co-commissioners, you will hear evidence. Sorry, Chair, I'm being asked to stop for a second so that the timeline can be projected. Okay.
Shouldn't,
Yes. Should I just proceed?
please just
Chair?
proceed, yes.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, after July 28, the next date of significance is June 2019, where the political killing task team adopted an integrated model where the Director of Public Prosecutions in KZN assigned a dedicated team of prosecutors to the task team, which resulted in the task team being a multidisciplinary team that incorporated prosecutorial guidance. Then the next event is the 17th of April 2024, where Mr. Armand Swart, an engineer in Vereeniging, was murdered. This high-profile assassination served as a catalyst for a wider investigation that would reveal far-reaching connections within the criminal underworld and expose insidious infiltration of law enforcement by criminal syndicates.